You're rushing through your morning, coffee in one hand, phone in the other, muttering under your breath about traffic or that email you forgot to send. Your little one, maybe 3 or 4 years old, is sitting at the table, munching on cereal, watching you with those big, curious eyes. You don't think much of it, right? It's just another hectic day. But then, later that afternoon, you hear them snap at their stuffed bear, "Hurry up, we're late," in the exact same tone you used earlier. It's a tiny moment, but it stops you in your tracks. Kids are like little sponges, soaking up everything we do, good and bad. And as parents, that's both a beautiful gift and a quiet challenge. Raising young children is this wild, messy adventure, and one thing I've learned along the way is how much they look to us to figure out the world. We're their first teachers, not just with what we say, but with how we act. When we slip up, and let's be real, we all do, it's not just about us anymore. Those little habits we don't think twice about? They're watching. They're copying. And before we know it, they're mirroring things we didn't even mean to teach. Today, I want to talk about how failing to set a good example can lead our kids to pick up habits we'd rather they leave behind. We'll dig into why this happens, what it looks like in everyday life, and how we can turn it around with small, doable changes. Because here's the truth, we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to be mindful. Let's start with something we've all experienced, those moments when life gets the better of us. Maybe you're stuck in traffic, and you let out a frustrated groan or a sharp word. It feels harmless, just blowing off steam. But kids don't see it that way. To them, it's a lesson. This is how you handle tough stuff. I remember a friend of mine, Sarah, telling me about her 4-year-old son, Ethan. She'd gotten into the habit of raising her voice when she was stressed, like when the dog chewed her shoes or dinner burned. One day, she overheard Ethan yelling at his toy truck, "Why can't you just work?" in her exact tone. It hit her like a ton of bricks. He wasn't just playing, he was copying her way of dealing with frustration. That's when it clicked for her, our kids don't just hear us, they become us. It's not always the big stuff either. Think about the little things we do every day. If you're glued to your phone during dinner, scrolling through social media while your kid's telling you about their day, what message does that send? I've been guilty of this myself. My daughter once tugged at my sleeve, saying, "Mommy, look at my drawing," and I mumbled, "That's great," without even glancing up. A week later, I caught her pretending to text on her toy phone while I tried to read her a bedtime story. Ouch. It's a wake-up call to realize they're learning that screens matter more than people, not because we say it, but because we show it. So why does this matter so much when they're young? Because these early years are when they're building their foundation, how they handle emotions, talk to others, even see themselves. If we're not careful, those unintentional habits we pass down can stick with them longer than we'd like. But here's the flip side, we've got the power to shift that. It starts with noticing what we're putting out there. Instead of snapping when I'm stressed, I've started taking a deep breath and saying, "Okay, let's figure this out." My daughter's picked up on that too. Now she'll pause and breathe when her blocks fall over instead of tossing them across the room. It's not magic, it's just modeling something better. We've talked about how kids copy our reactions and daily habits, but there's more to it than that. What about the way we treat ourselves or others? That's where things get even deeper, and it's what we'll explore next, how our actions shape their hearts, not just their habits. So, we've seen how kids pick up on the way we react to stress or zone out with our phones, but let's take it a step further. What about how we talk to ourselves, or to the people around us? That's where the stakes feel a little higher, because it's not just about habits anymore, it's about values. Young kids don't have a filter yet, they're watching every move, every word, and they're piecing together what's normal from us. If we're not setting a good example here, those little eyes and ears can end up copying things we'd never want them to carry forward. Take the way we handle mistakes, for instance. Life's messy, we spill coffee, forget appointments, burn the toast. It happens. But how we respond? That's what kids latch onto. I used to beat myself up over small slip-ups, muttering things like, "Ugh, I'm so stupid, why can't I get this right?" One day, my son dropped his juice cup and immediately said, "I'm dumb." My heart sank. He was 3, and already he'd learned to talk to himself the way I talk to myself. It was a gut punch, but it made me realize, if I want him to be kind to himself, I've got to start showing him how. Now, when I mess up, I try to laugh it off or say, "Oops, let's try that again." He started doing the same. Spills still happen, but the self-blame? That's fading. It's not just about self-talk, though. How we treat others sets the tone too. Think about those little moments, like how you speak to your partner or even the cashier at the store. Kids notice. A buddy of mine, Jake, used to vent about his boss every night at dinner, saying stuff like, "He's such a jerk, always on my case." Pretty soon, his 5-year-old daughter started calling her preschool teacher mean whenever she got a timeout. Jake didn't connect the dots until his wife pointed it out. "She's learning how to judge people from you." It wasn't intentional, but it was a wake-up call. He started shifting the conversation, talking about what went well at work instead, and his daughter's complaints slowed down. It's wild how fast they pick up on those vibes. Here's where it gets practical, because I know we're all thinking, okay, but how do I fix this when I'm juggling a million things? You don't have to overhaul your whole life, just start small. One trick I love is the pause and pivot. When you catch yourself about to snap, or maybe you're reaching for your phone out of habit, pause for a second. Take a breath. Then pivot to something you'd be okay with your kid copying. Like, instead of grumbling about a long day, I'll say to my daughter, "Wow, today was busy, but I'm so glad we're hanging out now." It's simple, but it works. She's even started saying, "I had a big day too," when she comes home from preschool. It's cute, but it's also proof she's watching. Another easy step? Show them how to handle tough feelings. We all lose it sometimes, traffic jams, spilled milk, you name it. But instead of hiding that, use it as a chance to model something good. I remember one rainy afternoon when I was exhausted, and my son wouldn't stop asking for cookies right before dinner. I felt that irritation bubbling up, but instead of yelling, I said, "Buddy, I'm feeling a little grumpy because I'm tired. I'm going to sit here for a minute, okay?" He nodded, and later, when he got mad about a broken toy, he plopped down and said, "I need a minute." It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Kids don't need us to be flawless, they just need to see us trying. What we're really talking about here is being the person we want our kids to become. It's not always easy, especially when life's throwing curveballs, but those small shifts add up. And as we figure this out, there's one more piece to the puzzle: how we help them grow from what they see. That's where we're headed next, because it's not just about avoiding the bad habits, it's about building the good ones too. We've been talking about how our kids are these little mirrors, reflecting back the way we handle stress, talk to ourselves, or treat others. But here's where it gets exciting. If they're copying us anyway, why not give them something worth copying? It's not just about dodging the bad habits, it's about planting seeds for the good ones. And honestly, that's the part that makes this whole parenting gig feel less like a guessing game and more like a chance to shape something amazing. One big way we do that is by showing them what effort looks like. Kids don't come wired to push through hard things, they learn it. And guess where they're looking? Yep, us. I used to put off chores like laundry until the baskets were overflowing, grumbling the whole time I finally got to it. My daughter noticed. She'd drag her feet on picking up toys, whining, "I'll do it later." Sound familiar? So I started flipping the script. Now, when I tackle something I've been avoiding, I'll say out loud, "Okay, this isn't my favorite, but let's get it done." She's caught on. Last week, she grabbed her crayons and said, "I don't want to clean, but I'm gonna try." It's not about being a superhero, it's about letting them see you show up. Another piece? Showing them kindness in action. We all want our kids to be the ones who share, who help, who care, but they don't figure that out on their own. I'll never forget this one time at the park. A mom nearby dropped her diaper bag, and stuff spilled everywhere. I jogged over to help, chatting with my son about how good it feels to lend a hand. A few days later, he ran to pick up a friend's fallen water bottle at preschool. His teacher told me, he said, my mom says helping is nice. It's those little ripples that stick with them, and it starts with us living it out. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but I'm not perfect. I mess up all the time. And trust me, I get it. Just yesterday, I snapped at my son over something silly, like socks on the floor. But here's the thing, even those moments can be a chance to set an example. After I cooled off, I sat him down and said, hey, I didn't mean to get mad like that. I'm sorry, let's try again. He hugged me and said, it's okay, Mommy. That's the magic of this. Kids don't need us to be flawless, they need us to be real. When we own our mistakes, they learn it's okay to stumble as long as you get back up. So where does this leave us? It's pretty simple, really. Our kids are watching us every day, how we laugh, how we cry, how we move through the world. And yeah, sometimes they'll pick up our grumpy sides or our phone obsession. But they'll also pick up our resilience, our kindness, our willingness to try. It's not about rewriting who you are overnight, it's about tweaking those little moments. Swap a complaint for a smile. Put the phone down and build a tower. Say I'm sorry when you're wrong. Those tiny shifts? They're what your kids will carry with them. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever caught your little one copying something you didn't expect? Drop it in the comments, let's swap stories. And if this hit home for you, give it a thumbs up, it means the world to know we're in this together. Hit that subscribe button too, because we've got more parenting chats coming your way. For now, take a deep breath and look at that amazing kid of yours. You're not just raising them, you're showing them how to live. And that's pretty incredible.